This is the Bentley Bentayga with the Azure specification, which is basically the top trim level. It comes with multi-tone leather and diamond stitching and bonus luxuries that you don't get with the standard Bentayga. It obviously looks very glamorous. Check out all the chrome across the front here. Very sophisticated detailing as well, as you'd expect with a $500,000 SUV. Yep, this thing retails from $475,000, which is obviously a lot for a SUV. It'd want to be good. More chrome highlights along the side here, including this side trim, which is subtly showing the flying bee symbol, and then the Azure badge down the bottom there. And then towards the back here, we've got this muscular rear haunch, which pays tribute to vehicles like the Bentley Continental. Around at the back, it does look pretty conservative in my opinion. You've just got the new oval shaped taillights. They're all crystal detailing as well, like the headlights. And then a set of quad outlet exhausts at the bottom there. The biggest attraction to this vehicle though is definitely the interior. That's where you're going to be spending a lot of your time, and that's where you're getting that very high-end, upper-class luxury experience. So let's check it out. Look at this, it's definitely stunning, isn't it? It's got the multi-tone leather, so you've got light cream and dark tan with some black leather, as well as diamond stitching on the seats there and the door trims, and lots of chrome switchgear. Obviously, passenger space and comfort is superb. This is a very relaxing and comfortable place to be. The seats hold you in, they've got a nice amount of lateral support, but not too much that it's too aggressive. Yeah, I could definitely spend all day in here on a road trip or something like that. What I like to investigate with vehicles like this is, what are you getting extra? So you can get an SUV, a large SUV for, you know, $60,000 Australian. Why is this $400,000 more? Well, let's check it out. For starters, you've got leather trim that goes all the way down the doors there, right to the bottom. So a lot of premium vehicles, they'll cut it off at about halfway and it will just be plastic. But then if we look at the seat here, this is usually always plastic, but that's actually wrapped in leather. You can feel the leather wrapping around the back there. So all of that is leather. And then you've got the pillar as well, all down here, across the bottom of the sill and up the sides. Even the side of the dashboard here is all leather. The attention to detail extends further as well. So look at this switch gear. You've got these beautiful piano key compression style knobs that open and close the climate vents. Chrome all around the clock there. More chrome down here. This drive mode toggle feels really nice. It's like it's hydraulically damped or something. Beautiful V8 sound when you start it up as well. This is not just a regular SUV. You can tell there's some theatre about this. This is an occasion to start this up. It's a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 producing 404 kilowatts and 770 Newton meters. This is the similar engine to what's found in the Audi SQ8 and SQ7, as well as Porsche Cayenne models. It's tuned, it's a kind of moderate tune in this example. The Audis are slightly detuned, and then the Porsches are tuned a bit higher. It might not seem like much, 404 kilowatts, but this thing absolutely hauls. Like that 770 Newton meters, put your foot down and it just catapults you forward. Really, really strong heaving power. We'll go for a drive in a minute and I'll show you. But just before we go, the touchscreen, it's a pretty decent touchscreen. It doesn't do anything fantastic or different compared to a normal SUV or even a Volkswagen product. I like the widgets there, or the apps laid out in a grid layout. Then you've got a home button as well. There are some vehicle settings you can go through, but it's not overly in-depth. And I think that's important with a Bentley anyway, because this is about the sort of luxury driving experience. You don't want to be bothered by, you know, whatnot going on the touchscreen. I like the way there is physical buttons, or there are physical buttons everywhere, which is great to see. So all these knobs feel really nice. Proper metallic or metal trimming as well. But yeah, you don't want to be overwhelmed by just one big screen in a vehicle like this anyway. In the back is also a very important place for a vehicle like this. And you have, yeah, plenty of room here. I've got the seat reclined slightly. My head is nowhere near the ceiling. Again, you've got nice Alcantara or suede-like trim all across the ceiling there, all the way down the pillar, and then it swaps to leather on the lower side, on the lower section here, sorry. Even the back of this little mat pocket is leather. That's all leather, all across the back here. You've got a little iPod or a tablet holder there. Nice little hook for your suit jacket or whatever you're carrying. And then even these grab handles nicely close up there. And then down here you've got a mini touchscreen that actually provides access to Apple CarPlay, the climate and seat settings. Overall, this is, I can tell that this is a very prestige vehicle. It's not just a normal SUV. Just looking around, everything is luxurious. So everything that you touch and look at is very high end. Even the carpets, nice thick carpets that extend all the way up here. And then in the back, you just push the B to open the tailgate. I've got these dividers set up so it can hold my bag from moving around. And you've got some underfloor storage there too, which is mainly the stereo by the looks of it. You can also raise and lower the vehicle at the touch of a button to help you unload things, or help your driver unload things. To get going, you've got this nice big chunky gear lever with B written on the top there, very nice. The only problem I have with it is the park button is placed at the back there, and sometimes when you're selecting gears, so you have to push the B down, your thumb or the bottom part of your hand might hit that park. It has for me a few times anyway. I mean, my hands are a bit different to most people, but yeah, when you're just trying to turn around or something like that, you go to select reverse and you accidentally push the park button and you stop for a second. And once you get going, obviously it is very smooth and calm. Even on dodgy roads like this one here, lots of bumps and corrugations. It's just ironing over everything and making it as flat and smooth as possible. This features air suspension where you can adjust the ride height, and it also changes depending on what mode you have it in. So you've got Sport, B for Bentley, Comfort and Custom. The Bentley mode is a default, so it's more of a grand touring mode. So it's not too soft, but it's quite comfortable and relaxing at the same time in terms of the powertrain configuration. And then if you put it into Sport, the vehicle drops down a bit, becomes more hunkered down, and the throttle becomes more sensitive, and so does the gearbox. And it doesn't take much throttle movement to get it going. It really just whooshes along. You don't need to push it very hard at all before it really takes off. You do have paddle shifters behind here, so you can go for manual driving if you'd prefer. But it does upshift by itself if you don't do it, so it won't hit a red line, but I don't think that's important for a typical Bentley Bentayga owner. They're not going to be taking it on the track. I love the deep bellowing sound of this engine, and I love that it's just subtle. It's just hiding in the background, but it's lurking. You can just hear that sense of power with it all the time, apart from when you're just absolutely cruising and the revs are just ticking over at 1500 or 2000 RPM. In B, it does quieten down a little bit as well, I've noticed. And yeah, the suspension becomes very, very absorbent, and it sort of floats along the road, taking in all the bumps and imperfections. Yeah, it goes so well. It really just pushes you in the back. Only with, that was half throttle, so it's definitely got plenty enough power for a vehicle like this. So I've still got it in sport mode, but I can feel the suspension is still very absorbent, and it's able to withstand impacts very well. But at the same time, it does have a little bit of body roll, which is kind of what you'd expect. You can't have maximum suspension travel and no body roll at all. That's a very hard thing to do. I think it's impossible actually in terms of physics. But this, it does walk a nice balance. The sport mode is not too firm, which I think is very important for a luxury vehicle buyer. There is a bit of a squeak going on at the back there, and I'm not sure if you can hear that. I don't know whether it's to do with the sunroof or there are sunshades on the back windows as well. You just hit the power window button gently, and a little shade will pop up. I'll just show the other side. I'm looking forward, don't worry. So yeah, I don't know if it's that or the sunroof. Let's see what it goes like down this tight corner. Lean on the power pretty early. Yeah, it goes, the engine is just magnificent, it really is. and the handling is a lot better than you expect. It's more agile, I mean, than you might expect. This thing weighs pretty much 2.4 to 2.5 tons, depending on how you specify it. So that is just very difficult to manage, but this feels so much lighter than that. It feels like it weighs about 2,000 or 1,900 kilograms, especially in the sport mode. If you leave it in the B mode, the Bentley mode, I think it's still fine, especially on roads like this, big country roads with, you know, sweeping bends, but lots of bumps. It absorbs all of that, but it's still sporty enough that it doesn't, you know, make you feel car sick or just too sloppy. It's actually quite tensioned up still, but it's just, yeah, it misses out on those little impacts, such as, I'll just go on this white line here, where the reflectors are. You can't hear them and you can't even feel them. So a lot of vehicles, like a little hot hatch, it'd be really crashing over those, bang, 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 bang. Whereas this, it's just, you can barely even notice that you're running over them. And if that's not comfortable enough, you've also got the comfort mode, which, yeah, becomes even more cushioning and relaxed. We'll just hit those reflectors again. I'll just wait until I get around this corner where there's no cars. Yeah, even over these bumps, it's just, yeah, very, very soft and relaxing. Okay, we'll hit those reflectors again. You can't even notice you're really hitting them. You can just hear it, but it sounds like more the rubber hitting the tyre rubber actually hitting the reflector. I'm going 100 kilometers an hour as well. I'd love to do a back-to-back comparison here, hitting the exact same reflectors in a normal car to show you the difference. Because yeah, that's amazing. It's just barely even feel it at all. I actually can't feel it, but I can hear it. That's the only evidence that I've got that I've actually hit those reflectors. It's amazing. Out on the highway, it is obviously very peaceful and quiet and very smooth. But is it that much different to a normal luxury vehicle? Well, it's definitely quieter. Like, I can't hear anything in here really from the outside. There's not much wind noise, nothing around the side mirror there. And this actually features double glazed windows. So it's got two pieces of glass there to help insulate from sound and climate. But the comfort is definitely supreme compared with most luxury vehicles. That's what really pushes this a step above anything else that's kind of anywhere near like this. But you'll be surprised by its handling. So in a minute I'm going to go down a bit of a winding road, a mountain road, and show you a bit about the handling, and then we'll get stuck into the 0 to 100 performance tests on a private road. We'll put it back into the sport mode, and even if you just leave it in automatic, yeah, it becomes a bit more energized and athletic. It wants to take on some corners. But if you're like me, rather change gear yourself, use the paddles, and it's a bit more engaging. Yeah, despite weighing so much, it doesn't feel like it. It feels very punchy and more agile than you'd expect from a vehicle like this. And that power is just enormous between the corners. Full throttle. Yeah, this is nuts. The front end bites really well. It's got massive tyres, 22-inch wheels. So that probably doesn't come as a surprise that it's got good front end bite. Yeah, this is awesome. It's amazing how they engineer vehicles like this that are so big and so heavy, and they just handle so well. This feels like it wants to be here. It's enthusiastic about this style of driving, despite being very luxury focused. In other words, it doesn't feel like it's out of its comfort zone. The low end pickup from this engine is amazing. It really does pick up from basically any RPM, and you just put your foot down and it's gone. Low RPM, ready, third gear. Jeez, it's just crazy, this thing. It really does haul. Yeah, we better hit the private road and do some performance testing.